Hello, my name is Sherry, and welcome to the Godly Playroom. It's so great to be back this fall and learning new stories to tell you. Today, I have Jackie with me in the circle, and Ruth is here as well, recording. I think we just need a moment now to get ready. It's been a while since I've done this, so I think I need to get ready too. So you can take a deep breath. Good. And maybe you need to get something ready for response time. You can do that now, or something for feast time. And then we will all be ready to start. Over on our calendar, we are in the last week of the color orange. And you can see that our focus table here has orange color too. So I think it's time now. We can light our candle. It's getting really small. Once there was someone who said such amazing things and did such wonderful things that people wanted to follow him. And when they followed him, they would ask him questions. And one time they asked him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am the light." There we go. We have our light for today. So we'll put it away somewhere safe. There we go. Alright, I think I'm ready to tell the story. Are you ready to hear a story? This is a really big story and it needs lots of things, but I've got it all ready here. So we can go. This is the desert. It's not the whole desert, but it's a piece of the desert. So many important things happened to the people of God here. The desert is a dangerous place. It's always moving. So you don't know where you are. People get lost in the desert. There's hardly any water in the desert. And without water, everything dies. There is very little to eat in the desert. And without food, people die. During the day, the sun scorches your skin. And at night, it is cold. When the wind blows, the sand stings your skin. People wear a lot of clothes in the desert to protect them from the sun and the blowing sand. The desert is a dangerous place. People do not go into the desert unless they have to. The people of God came through the desert, past Horeb, and into Egypt. In Egypt, the king is called the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh welcomed the people of God, and there was enough food and water for everyone. Many years passed, and there was a new ruler. This Pharaoh did not remember what the other Pharaoh had done. The people of God became slaves. Life was very hard. There was a young man named Moses. He was born into a Hebrew family, but he was raised by the Pharaoh's daughter. One day, there are many stories about Moses, many stories. But we're going to join his story now when he was out walking. And he came across an Egyptian who was beating one of the people of God. Moses grew angry and he killed the Egyptian. He hid him in the sand and he ran away into the desert. He stayed with the family of Jethro. He married Zipporah, Jethro's daughter, and became a shepherd. He lived there for 40 years. One day, when he was looking after Jethro's sheep, he took them to the mountain of God, Mount Horeb. It is also called Mount Sinai. When he was resting, he suddenly saw a bush that was burning, but it didn't burn up. God spoke to Moses from the burning bush. "Take off your sandals, you're standing on holy ground." The cries of the people in Egypt have been heard. You are to go and set them free. Moses said, "But who am I to go and do this thing?" God said, "I will be with you." "What is your name?" "My name is Yahweh. I am who I am." "Can't you send someone else?" God said, "Your brother Aaron will go with you, and he will speak for you." So Moses went all the way back to Egypt. He said to the Pharaoh, "Let my people go." Many times the Pharaoh said no. Terrible things happened in the land of Egypt. Finally, when Moses said, "Let my people go," the Pharaoh said yes. With God's help, Moses led the people through the waters into freedom. So I wonder what part of this story you like best.
I like when Moses met with Yahweh.
Moses was talking to God through the burning bush. I wonder what you wrote there, what your favorite part was. I wonder what part of this story is the most important.
I don't know whether it's God didn't give up on Moses or Moses didn't give up on God or on the Pharaoh.
Lots of persistence.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's any part of this story that's about you or it's just for you today.
Reminds me that persistence pays off.
Yes, it can.
Or can pay off. So I was thinking about times I feel like running away.
He ran away from his problems in Egypt for 40 years.
Yeah, all that time, right? And still God was able to do something with that. And that gives me a little bit of hope.
I wonder if there's any part of this story we could leave out and have all the story we need. I guess that's something to really wonder about.
Yeah, I always wonder about the killing in that.
Exactly.
And why we don't seem to be moved to do something until things get really extreme, or or we think it's okay to be violent because we think we're right somehow, or I don't know.
I'm going to start to put the story away. And while I'm putting away the story, maybe you can start to think about what you might want to do for your work in response to this story. So we've got sheep. Are we going to put away the people of God then? And the Egyptian, and of course Moses, and that mysterious burning bush, and the mountain, Mount Sinai, Mount Horeb. I didn't know it had two names. And of course, the desert. We'll just move it aside a bit before we start our response time. So if you haven't got your response materials yet, you can stop the video and go and get them. I've already got a little bit ready here for me, so I guess we'll go right into it. I thought there were so many things about this story that I could respond to, so it was hard to make a choice. I thought the burning bush is so mysterious. That was something to wonder about. And Moses going to the Pharaoh, and Moses being a shepherd for 40 years. And there was just so many things about this story to respond to. But the thing that I really responded to this time for this story was the holy ground, that he was standing on holy ground. And that really resonated with me. So then I wondered, well, is that holy ground only there by Mount Sinai? Or is there holy ground other places too? I wonder where your holy ground is. I feel for myself, there's holy ground in my yard and in my garden, and when I go on walks, on different hiking trails, or in the mountains, or maybe it's not ground, but it's sort of ground, lakes and rivers. I was wondering what it would be like if we treated all of those places like holy ground. So today, the holy ground I was thinking about are forests. So I was thinking I might just kind of see if I can draw a forest with these chalks here. And I don't know, maybe I should make a forest that has evergreen trees. And I think about all the creatures that live in those trees. They can be a home for birds and squirrels and all kinds of insects. And sometimes they even support other kinds of plant life. So that's kind of cool. And then I was thinking some of the forests around where I live right now there's trees that have all different colors of leaves on them. Some of them are orange and some are kind of reddish and some are kind of brown. Such a beautiful time of year. And I saw a whole flock of yellow finches this morning in some trees. I think they're eating a bunch of stuff so that they can fly away. And did you know that trees breathe in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen for everything else to breathe? I thought that was pretty special. So they provide life for animals, birds, insects, people. What about fish? Would a tree give life to fish? Did you know that there's mangrove trees that grow in swamps, and there's all kinds of life that lives among the roots of the mangrove trees? So they're like a little forest too, and they're in the water. So they even provide a place for fish to live. So for me today, the holy ground for me is a forest. I'm going to use a blue for a blue spruce. There we go. It's kind of like a forest. I'll set that aside, and I hope you enjoyed doing your work today too. Well, I think it's almost time for feast time. So if you haven't got a little feast ready yet and you want to, this is a good time to stop the video and go find something for feast. But I've already got my feast ready. So I'm going to sanitize my hands. Sure they're nice and clean. What do I got today? I have some water, which is really good. I need some. And I've got some apple, and guess where this apple came from? It came from my apple tree in my yard. But before we have that, I have a little prayer. And this prayer I have to read to you. I don't know it off by heart. And it's by Norman C. Habel. Take off your shoes like Moses. Take off your shoes. This is holy ground. Walk gently through my woods. Tread softly on my face. Walk reverently through my garden. This is holy ground. This is God's sanctuary. I invite you to worship with your feet this day. I invite you to walk across my landscape and sense the life within. The glory that fills my body, God's presence below. I invite you to reach down to the holy ground beneath you. Walk in the water. Sink in the sand. Stand on a rock. You are walking on fire, the fire of God's glory vibrant within. Take off your shoes. This is holy ground. This is the sanctuary of God. Amen. I'm going to have some of my apple. I feel kind of bad eating with other people in the room and not sharing with them. It's okay. It feels a little bit strange. So Jackie, Did you have any wondering about that story?
That's a big story. And it makes me, I don't know, I'm thinking about Moses and the horrible things he did, and yet God still used him. So even when I make a mistake, God can still use me. That's what I'm thinking about right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes a person feels so badly about some of the things they did or said. You think that you're not of use to anybody.
Yeah.
But maybe you are. We were just talking about all the beautiful colors out there right now. I wonder if you've been out enjoying the colors and the sun right now. It's so nice out. Well, I do have to say that's an awfully tasty apple. Well, if you've done your feast now, and you can clean up after that, and we'll get ready to change our light. Are we ready to change the light? There it is already. Whoa! There it is! The light that was in one spot is now filling the room with its presence. And it's probably making its way to Jackie and Ruth. And it might make its way all the way to you. Thank you for joining me today. Be well, keep safe, and God bless.